Mitra, this was a fun episode. What
Hmm.
were some of your key takeaways?
Well, the first one that really stuck with me was, and I see it in executive coaching, how powerful it is for leaders to admit that they don't know. That really stayed with me. And I also like the fact that we unfolded Nacho's name and we talked about names. He asked about my name because I believe there's a lot of information about our names that we just ignore. I mean, it's very interesting why out of all names we choose the name we do. So those are the things that really stayed with me. How about you?
For me, I enjoyed the conversation about this delicate balance between passion and detachment when we're working on projects or any professional endeavors, and also the balance between the masculine and the feminine.
My favorite subject. So, if you're someone who's feeling stuck on a project or some other areas of your life, if you're someone who tends to become overly attached to the outcomes in your life, or if you're someone who's curious about how to balance your masculine and feminine traits and energies, both personally and professionally, this episode will be a fun episode for you to listen to. Hello, Nacho.
Hello, Mitra. I'm Ben. How are you guys?
What's up, Nacho?
We're just so excited to have you. And on that note, what is so exciting in your life right now?
What is very exciting right now is I have a beautiful new patient that is an autistic man of 27-year-old. I work with kids, with very severe kids in New Jersey, but having an adult with that amazing mind, which is absolutely fascinating, and working with him 3 days a week and seeing that there is an impact already, that is very exciting because it was a big challenge, this kind of new patient. I mean, I have the album now, the record that I'm doing, but that is not excited anymore because it's been a lot of trouble. So it was fascinating to see that what makes me really happy is working with people, and it was a great realization. The album is going to be out, it's going to be fantastic, but it's been a year and a half in the making with so many obstacles that I lost the joy. I said that to my team. Honestly, I have to be vulnerable with my team, say, hey guys, something is wrong because I'm losing the joy.
Yeah.
And if I'm losing the joy, there's no point. And then at the same time, this new patient and then a couple of new students, like beautiful musicians are coming. And then it was very exciting to recognize what really makes me happy. And very interesting to recognize that you really need to let go when something is not working. Not to let go, but emotionally step back. And that for me is very hard with my music. So it was a great, big, hard exercise to say, if I keep engaging with my emotion into this, I'm going to lose my mind and my joy. So I'm going to be cold with my music, which I never done. I'm going to be cold with my project. And then as soon as I did that, these beautiful new patients come in to inspire my life and remember to remind me my purpose. So that is what is exciting.
Letting go has been a theme for Ben and I. It's very interesting. He's smiling because we've been talking and practicing and going deep into letting go. And I just wanted to say on that note, I completely relate to that. I had to let go of something professionally. And you know about that. I know you were called and we met around the app that I was creating. And then it was exactly what you said. One of the big apps got excited and activated by my app, made it a sort of a threatening legal thing because I wouldn't join their app. And the joy went away. The joy went away completely. And I just felt I can do this, but not with such a heavy energy around it. So I completely relate to that. But the beauty of this is somebody like you who works from inside out is that the joy may be put aside on one subject, but it never, ever goes away. It's like energy. Energy never dies. It just changes its form.
Yeah, it's very humbling, no? Because 2 weeks ago, I faced myself, and it was the first time that in Spanish we say, you throw the towel to the floor when you can't do it anymore.
Surrender.
Surrender or say, oh my God, I can't do it. It was the first time in my life because everything that I put in my mind, I've done with willpower. But now willpower was not enough. You know what I'm saying? And to face, oh my God, it's the first time in my life that I have to accept that I'm not going to make it. And then to transmit that vulnerability to my team, which everybody was freaking out, was very nice because it's like we go forward from this place of vulnerability. I'm not going to put the mask that guys, let's keep going. I'm not doing right. So let's start from that point. And then when you are that honest with you and with people, then new solutions happens and appears and new paths. So, but it's been very humbling.
Who was the team and what did you have to tell them?
Well, the team is my manager, then a new lawyer that is managing all the things in the industry, and then I have two investors, and then I have the engineer producer that is doing the album. It was very beautiful. The investors that are very good friends. She said something like, she said, "Okay, Nacho, so what you're trying to tell us is you have a team, but you feel alone." And it's like, wow, you just because the people on the team were like talking about, okay, professionally what we can do and solutions. But then this woman said, okay, you are telling us that now you have a team, which you never had, and you're supposed to be happy, but you feel very alone having a team. And I was like, that's it. So it's beautiful when someone in your team really sees you. It's not just being an expert on something, and really see where are you standing emotionally. So it was beautiful conversation that is leading us to a much strong path, and it's giving me now hope. I'm still like detaching, and I think it's gonna be even more productive, me being detached. And and the thing I never is again something very new for me because I'm always very passionate, and then I decided, wow, I have to move to passion from being neutral. And that is super new for me, but I think it's going to be the best for the team and for the project. So that is other thing that is exciting, that is new, and is where I am right now.
I wonder if it's possible to be passionate and neutral, to be passionate about something and to be detached about it, like passionate about the unknown. I'm surrendering this to something higher than me. And I'm excited and I'm passionate about that. I have no idea how it's going to unravel, when it's going to unravel, but I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you put it in a very good way, Ben.
Yeah.
You solve the equation.
I have a statement about that. I call it, do my best, trust the rest.
I love that. That had such an impact on me, Mitra.
Yeah.
When you first told me that a few years ago, oh, it's such a relief. All we can do is our best, and the rest we just have to trust.
Yeah. And I've done it, and it's gone. And on Nacho's statement and words, my partner and I were talking a few days ago, and he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, because I was activated by something. I said, "Nothing." He said, "What do you mean nothing?" I said, "Sometimes the best way you can participate is not to participate." And he said, "Let's write that down." We have a sort of a file that we write down if anything comes up that works for us. So we wrote that down. The best participation at times is lack of participation. So it sounded like that, letting go and not like holding on to things.
Yeah, and then the thing, some of us, I mean, you and I were teachers, so we are used to lead, right? So we lead. And then it's very hard to not to lead and not participate, right? But I think it's an amazing exercise. It will bring the solutions that are needed. But right now, I don't have to find the solutions anymore. I don't.
That's beautiful, Nacho, because I know you're extremely gifted at teaching and at leading and at using your will to accomplish the things that you desire in your life. So yeah, it's especially hard. And I'm similar in the sense that I have a very strong will. It takes a lot of courage, I think, for someone who's as gifted as you to be willing to let go and to trust that process.
Sometimes the thing is, believe me, I am so stubborn.
Oh, I know. We've worked together.
So for me, I had to really put my face into the wall 5 times and then say, okay, it's not working. You know what I'm saying? So I I was really hitting in the ground, and actually I was feeling miserable, to be honest. And then when you accept, oh my God, I can master this now with going and paddleboard in Malibu and try to distract myself. No, like, I am feeling miserable. So something has to change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what a relief. It sounds like you experience such a relief when we just admit that. I feel like crap and I just don't know what to do here.
Exactly.
I just don't know what to do.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I said to the team. And it's very humbling when you when you are the ones that always know what to do and always
Yeah.
appear strong and always appear like there is two things. One is the acceptance and honesty with yourself. And then the second thing is communicating it. Because if you don't communicate it, again, you are alone with the decision. You are alone with the feeling.
Yes.
And the big relief is when you communicate it, and then bigger relief when somebody sees you, and then when the team finds solutions. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And may I add a number 3 to your 2?
Sure.
I think the number 3 for me, as you were saying it, is to understand that the very thing that I may see as weakness, meaning I can't do this, is doorway to a higher consciousness. So at this level, I was quite able. But what I'm seeing is that I'm raising my consciousness to work with things in a different way. That's why this is unfamiliar. So I actually see it as the rising of my consciousness. Oh, I'm going to a next level. And now at this level, I need to familiarize myself and learn how to do it. So it actually, our very weakness is the sign of our growth and raising of our game.
Number 3, love it.
I love that. I felt that in my body when you
And
were sharing that. Mate.
yeah, and I feel that my intuition was telling me that is like you are going into another level which you've never been, and it's a level of no control.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yes. Yes. Fantastic.
That's where
It's-
magic happens.
Yes.
That's when the miracles happen.
No control, but a lot of command.
The I don't know piece is, I think, so beautiful. And the fact that you were just able to admit that and that your colleague, your teammate was such a beautiful mirror for you and was able to reflect back to you what it is that you were actually wanting and needing. That's a further affirmation that you don't need to know. Sometimes you just have to say it, right? That I just don't know. And the answers come. We get the clarity.
Yeah, sometimes, and this is a kind of a very feminine energy thing, but you're not asking for solutions right now. You're asking to be seen. You're asking to somebody feel with you. And that's that very feminine, which I have that feminine energy, but not at work. When I'm working, I'm very masculine. So bring that feminine energy into work. What happens is it becomes creative.
Yeah.
Because it's a feminine energy. And I think that in our work and in the industry, in this industry of music, is very hard because it's very business oriented and strategy oriented. The artists are not being really heard. It becomes a part of a machinery. So the balance in a team is like the expertise, the business orientation and strategy, but then the feeling. We need to feel each other. We need to support where the artist or everybody in the team is, so we can, because that's the real thing.
And anyways, those conversations are happening. They're just invisible, right? They're unspoken, but they're being non-verbally spoken.
Yeah, and they occupy space.
And they consume energy.
Yeah, so you really hit it there. There are untold conversations that are really creating the dissonance. But when you share that, it's like this is a process of my life and healing is when you address the tension. When you address the tension, which is scary, and you unfold it, that's when faster you're gonna get the solution and you're gonna be able to harmonize the tension. I always talk about this with the music, right? For me, healing music is not beautiful music. My healing music on the guitar is embracing the tension of my soul. Therefore, it's a chord on the guitar that has a lot of tension harmonically, because that's how I'm trying to harmonize my tension. So it needs to be dissonance a little bit, and then when it always happens in the compositions that when I start with the tension the music lead us into release. Always.
Wow. That's alchemy. What you're talking about is alchemy
Yes.
right now.
Exactly. But
Yes.
that's why music has the power to heal, because if you study it in theoretically and the mathematic intervals and the harmony, everything can be harmonized, but it's not going to be super colorful at the beginning. It's going to have a gray, different shade gray with a splat
Messy.
red, messy. And then when you embrace it, then it evolves into, and then, so then when people watch that painting, they can feel the tension, but then the magic of the artist is the artist was able to find the solution to that equation of tension and create beauty with it. And
Wow.
create beauty.
I love that. Wow. That's just hitting so many things for me right now. That's really beautiful. That's the beauty of our quote unquote negative emotions, right? Can be used as fuel.
So, I mean, you work with me. I always define trauma like a lot of energy that is disorganized. So, but when you organize the energy of trauma, it's actually your asset. So your trauma, actually, that's why it happens for us, is to give you energy. And then, so the universe, okay, here's this amount of energy and it's disorganized. And therefore is the bad experience, right? Now we always want to hide that pain, right? But then it's always catching up to you. So in the 50 time or 25 time that you are repeating the same experience to face that pain and that tension, when you finally have support or the tools, you just put the energy out. And now with help, you organize the energy. So therefore you paint a beautiful painting with your pain. That's it. Habib, that's how it is, at least for me.
Nacho, you just explained your own experience. Exactly what we were talking about. You just explained it. So you're really teaching yourself, I think, right now.
We are our best teachers. I've been doing it for so long that I know the process, because I am very analytic. So sometimes even my music, I analyze what I'm doing this, because my music comes always from improvise. It comes from an impulse. So at first is the impulse, I let it be, but then I analyze, okay, what I'm doing here, how I go from this chord to this chord. And it's been, as you said, this is my journey and how I do things. And it's like the mathematics of the alchemist, right? It's how you can combine elements. And that's what happens to all of us. I think that's how you need teachers and you need help. I always say to people, for the next step, you need help. We are so used to do things alone. We were told that is weak to ask for help, and no, I mean, there are people that have been in the path longer than you and have tools. So it can give you a shortcut, actually. That's what I'm doing with my work, is I can give a shortcut. So people, you don't need to go through what I'm going through and figure it out in 30 years. You can figure it out in 5.
But you said something that was interesting. I was very happy that you referred to masculine and feminine energies, but you said something and said it fast, but I want to unfold that with you. You said that in your personal life, you have brought into or connected to your feminine energy, but in your work, you haven't. That was puzzling to me because of the nature of your work. It is, to me, music, healing, are such feminine sort of attributes that I was surprised to hear that. Do you think that is working for you, that you've let go of the feminine energy that you have connected to when it comes to your work?
Well, I was saying in this case with the new project. So I've been operating very masculine, very like getting things done, getting deadlines done, mixing logistic for travels. A lot. So so that is what you said. I mean, there was not working anymore. Now, in my work as a teacher, well, okay, here's the thing. Again, putting myself out and nobody knows this, not many people know. So my personal work, because my energy has been always very feminine, like in the feeling. That's why I understand the woman very good. That's why I can hear and listen very good. But I needed, my personal work was to bring out my masculine energy. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Since
Yeah.
a kid, I'm mega sensitive. So that my work in the past, actually 15 years, was to really access my masculine energy, embrace it.
Mm.
And it's been super important for me. So what I feel with my work is a beautiful balance now that I have between the feminine and the masculine. They're always like rotating and in movement. That's why, for example, when I work with Ben, I was I can be very serious. I can be very commanding. Yeah, very masculine, like clear borders, clear limits. And then there's another moment that the feminine comes in and is the listening and is the empathy. So in my work, I feel that it's very balanced. So it's not that I am abandoning the feminine or I was abandoning the feminine. Is now I was talking more about the album and this specific project that is, again, I need to bring that balance into the business of the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it's not working, but you forgot the balance.
I mean, you can't believe the extremes I've been doing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a harmonization process with all aspects of your life. Now, you knew how to access the masculine and feminine in different parts of your life and in different ways. And now it sounds like you're being guided to take everything, harmonize everything, all compartments of your life, all aspects, harmonizing that masculine and that feminine. I think you have such a rich life experience and history. I just see you as such a dynamic human with so much depth and so much soul. And I love to hear about an experience from you from the past, a difficult one, anyone that you feel has shaped you and who you are today and where you are.
Well, first of all, I feel that this life has been like 5 lives. For example, when I was 15 years old, I'm going to share something again that nobody, when I was 15 years old, no, probably 18, because 15 was when everything changed. I was waking up in the morning one day and say, if I die tomorrow or today, I'm fine. Because I live so much, so much. And I was 18. So for me now, even now I'm 48, imagine. So all the experience I had, the good ones and the bad ones, I am totally good. I'm not seeking for more. And also I've seen, also because of my work, I've seen all the edges of human nature, the bad ones, the very bad ones. And I'm seeing and I've experienced the very good ones too. And I've been exploring the edges of my own human pain and joy that I am really good to go in it. I think, you know what I'm saying? I'm content. But I think that's why I think a teacher or a guide can guide because you've done the path 1,000 times. It's like I always put this example, right? You have the Sherpas that go into the Everest or a guide to a mountain, right? Why a guy can guide you? Because that he has done the path up and down and can do it
Yeah.
with his eyes closed. So because I've been dancing so much in the dark, because in my family I witnessed so much pain since I was young. The pain and the dark, I'm not scared of that. What I'm scared of is not to address it. That is what really scares me. But the dark, I mean, I'm a Scorpio. I am, and now we can talk a little bit about Iranian mythology, which goes along what you're saying. So my name is Arimany. I think I'd shared this with Mitra when we met, Arimany. And I always looking for the origins of things, my music roots, right? So I was in New York one day and in a flea market, I saw a book called Origins and said, okay, I have to get this book. So it's telling the origins of and the cosmology of basically every culture. So that was my jam, is my jam, beloved. So then we went into Iran and it was talking about the Zoroastrian religion, right? And then here it is a character called Iraman.
Yeah.
which is one letter away from my name,
Right.
Arimany. That was super important for me, the revelation, talking with about what I'm saying about being in the dark many times, and for me not understanding how I have this access to the dark and why. And then seeing that Arimany is the dark itself, is the evil, is the bad guy, right? It was very important for me to recognize that I am that.
Give
You
us more
know?
context. So Ahriman is an evil character in the Zoroastrian story. Is that what it is? Is he the
I
dark
mean,
side of the story?
you have Zoroaster, which is the savior and the light, and you have, and the antagonist is Ahriman. You should know this.
Ahriman. Ahriman is basically
Ahriman,
the devil, the
the
opposite
devil.
of light. So Ahriman is very interesting.
That is super important revelation because we need to accept who we are first. And if I have this tension that I have inside that nobody sees because I am in charge to harmonize it, okay? But the fact is I have it. And why I have it, and then my name, I'm living exactly my name. But the funny thing, look at this, is my first name is Ignacio. So Ignacio Arimany, check this out, is the balance. Because Ignacio, check this out, Mitra, you're going to love this. Ignacio comes from the Latin root, okay? Ignacio comes from ignis. And in Latin, ignis means to ignite.
Oh, wow.
So to bring the light, so that's why I'm very fiery, but it's to really to bring the light of transformation.
Wow.
So in my name, I'm light and dark, hardcore in nature. And that's my...
I see alchemy. What comes to my mind is alchemy.
There's no
Alchemizing.
craziness. It's not alchemy, it's craziness.
This is fascinating. So let me give Ben a little bit of, and our listeners, a little bit of background to Ahriman. Ahriman is the main adversary to Ahura Mazda, that is the deity that symbolizes light. So Ahriman is symbolizing the dark, and it's an adversary at the opposite, because in olden mythology, which comes from Mithraism, Zoroastrian and all of those sects come from the origin of everything was Mithraism. So there is at the opposite of everything, because they understand that we live in the realm of duality. And in the realm of duality, everything that exists has its opposite. Ahura Mazda, who the deity of the light, symbolizes the light. Its adversary is Ahriman. Its opposite is Ahriman, which is what Nacho is referring to. And that is fascinating that you even were interested to pick up on that, because to go to our origins is so enlightening. I always ask people, what does your name mean? And very rarely I get something that has been really explored. They say in many faith groups, they say that we choose our own names, even though we think our parents or a friend has given our name. But in essence, the higher self chooses the name. And so it has significance there.
I love what you're saying. And when Ben, you were talking about alchemy, so my name, Ignacio, is the fire. Is the one that ignites. So, and what is the fire? It's a catalyst for change. In chemistry, the fire in alchemy is the catalyst. You need fire to let the bridges of hydrogen of each molecule to break apart so that you can create a new molecule, right? It's the fire that do that. So here I am, which my name for years has been Nacho. Just my family called me Ignacio. That's why I'm reclaiming now Ignacio, finding my purpose in my name. This is what I do. I am a catalyst. And the fire also in Chinese medicine, that element is the heart organ, is the fire element. That's why I always said that we need to connect with the heart, not because of love. It is because the heart is really the healer, because it's the fire that really transmutes everything. So fire is the only element that cannot be corrupted. That's why the heart, at the end of any conflict, the only way to solve it is tapping into the heart. Because it's the fire that will bring change, So here is my name that I was neglecting because I didn't like my name when I was a kid. Here I am like, oh my God, As you say, I choose my name because I choose my job here.
Nothing is an accident. Nothing is an accident in this universe. I really believe that. And yeah, to your point about the heart, being able to alchemize anything, I'm really experiencing that now as I open my heart more and I move more into love. And it's so easy to fall into the old patterns of, for me, there was anger, there was guilt, a little bit of shame, there was all of these things. But when I'm feeling those things, it's sometimes it feels so hard to access love. But if I'm intentional about, I pick one thing, for example, my dog Marley, and I focus on that love, or I think of an image. I have an image of my guru. I just feel love, the energy of love. It's incredible what that does. It's incredible. Like when I'm in a state that I just think that there's no way I'll be able to get out of this anytime soon, and I get into love, it's just incredible what it does. Shifts everything. It's as if I was wearing an illusory suit, and I took it off, and the love just dissolved that for me. I resonate very much with what you're sharing.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, talking about alchemy and the elements too, is like the love and the fire needs earth to be contained, and we need the strength. So for me, to access that energy of love that we were saying, you need to be very strong. First, you need to connect with your strength, which is in Taoism, is the hara, is the center of energy here. We breathe actually from our roots. Remember, that's why Mitra said, in our origins, there is pain, but it's actually our strength, because all that energy that is disorganized, once you organize it, you can breathe from there, then you bring it into your hara, into your strength. Then you can access the heart. So, because if not, you are thinking love. That's what a lot of people does.
That actually resonates with what I'm experiencing now too, because I'm very conscious about being grounded. I spend more time in nature now, barefoot walking in nature. And that reminds me of what you're sharing, right? Grounding, earthing.
The flame is there steady because you have this container that is your body that is earthy. So then not the fire that happens to me a lot. That's why I'm telling you that I've had to do this. The fire of love and then giving a lot, expanding, but then you don't have energy. So then the flame gets extinguished, right? That reminds you, maybe Mitra teacher, like you give, and then you don't have more flame for you, and then you feel sad. So it's that balance so you have to build a very strong container, very grounded. So then the fire is there steady, and you can direct that fire to different places. So love, that's what I teach. I teach strength. I don't teach love. Love is a consequence of being strong.
Love is inherent in us. We don't try and
That's what I'm
be
saying.
love.
Exactly.
We just have to remove the blocks to love.
Exactly. So our default is love. However, because of our experience, we packed ourselves with all these beliefs and stuff to overcome the pain, and we get dissociated from our own body, actually. And then we are trying to access strength from outside things, from money, from how many viewers we have, how many Instagram followers, how much success outside. No, the strength is hara, is here, is you with the universe and earth. And when you access that strength, then love changes everything. Because basically in that strength, there is no judgment. So is it possible to love if you're judging?
Oh, I love to capitalize on that. Ignatia, I'm going to call you that from now on.
Yeah.
I want to know, how do you have fun?
It's very interesting how sometimes we do things for fun. I just want to distinguish and be very like surgical thought, analytical. I'm doing this for fun, or I'm doing this to regulate myself. It's different, no?
Yeah. I mean, fun. Like
Fun.
that kid that goes crazy and goes, well, like that kind of fun.
I think that's when I'm with friends, just having dinner.
So if I invite you and Ben for dinner, you're going to be that kid because I play. Ask Ben. I'm like a 5-year-old and I play.
Yeah, I mean, when I play, is free of judgment, is when we flow. The kid in us flow, right?
Yeah. Don't teach
So,
me. Tell me when you have fun.
I mean, I'm trying to figure it out because that's why I'm telling you, most of the things that I do because I love to do, for example, stand-up paddleboarding, that's my jam. I love to try to do it every day. It's
Uh-huh.
fun, but sometimes I do it because I need to do it. So I push myself to do. So it's regulatory in my system and it's fun at the same time. The same thing like playing music, but because playing music is my job too, there's a lot of confusion there, right? Because
Yes.
I'm picking the
Yes.
guitar because I'm practicing, or I'm picking the guitar because I want to play the guitar.
If you're sitting there having dinner and you're safe, meaning hopefully you don't feel any judgment. Let's say you, Ben, and I are having dinner, okay? And I go and bring a bucket of water and pour it over you. Would that be okay? Would you just like chase me around his house, or do you start shouting at me?
I will put another glass of water on top of you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you're game. That's what I'm asking.
Oh my
You're
God. No,
game. You
yeah.
want to play. And then we start
Like,
throwing things at each other, and I throw
yeah,
things to you, and then Bet gets involved. Can you
yeah,
picture that?
absolutely.
Would you love
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah.
We'll host
Of-
a dinner. I'll make sure to pick ingredients that are perfect for a food fight.
The reason I asked that question, I feel like you would really benefit from good dose of
Of
fun,
fun. Oh,
like
yeah.
really fun, like silly fun.
It's interesting because I'm from Madrid, from Spain. So the jokes, I love to laugh. I think laughter is one amazing
Yeah.
medicine. But I don't find myself laughing that much here since I was in America. Actually, it's all because cultural references and language. Actually, with Iranian people, the sense of humor is similar, a little bit sarcastic. So that's why a lot of my friends are Iranian or Armenian. So I love fun. The thing is, to be honest, again, I'm vulnerable. In LA, it's hard to connect. There's not that many human connections. So I have to, how can I say this, to ignite myself again with joy.
Mhm.
It's always me with me,
Mhm.
having to keep that flame alive. And that is exhausting because sometimes you have a friend go out to dinner and then you laugh, that's it. But I think LA is a very interesting place with full of people, but full of lonely people too.
Yeah, I agree. And full of social interactions, but not full of rich and connected social
Connection.
interactions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's why if don't have a deep conversation, I'm not gonna go out. I mean, it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I think it's just not at the LA. I mean, I think that right now that loneliness is the number one pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic and creates mental health issues, and so these kind of conversations, hopefully people will listen to us, should ignite connection. I think for this conversation, if my wish for people, if they're listening, is don't be afraid to connect with people in an authentic way because it is what we are. It's so politikon, like the Greeks say that we are social people. It's a lie that we can do it alone. It's a lie. And a social media situation separate us more than unite us. It's a fact. So we need to go back to having dinners every week, to having go to nature together, break bread together. I'm gonna be very assertive in this. Is a lie that there is community in LA. Community that word is a trend. That is being used to sell tickets.
I have
So
the same experience of LA.
it's not to be negative, but we do need to create real communities. And what is a community? Something that has consistency. An event is not community. A community is something that happens every once a week. Because then you rely on that, and that brings safety to people. Because if you even you feel alone during the week, you go to the group, whatever is church, whatever is a dance party, whatever is a choir, but you go to the group and you know that every week you have that, you can hold on to that, and there is a shared experience. That is community. Now, where do can find these kind of things in LA that are consistent for people and not for a business? You tell me, I'll go.
They happen, but I think the other layer to it, Nacho, is that where people are energetically. It's really interesting. I experience in LA, I don't know what it is, but there's an energy and interactions that I have with people where there's a little bit of a guard up always. There's perpetually, it feels like there's some veil, some guard between me and the other person. And I take responsibility. I do that as well. And it's so interesting because you mentioned in Madrid, your experience there, you're more humorous and whatnot. I experienced something similar too. Different cities, different cultures that I go into, the connections are different. For example, I believe I can have an interaction with the same person in LA and then have that interaction with them in some other city, let's say Austin, and the nature of that interaction would be very different just because we're in a different location together. Do you perceive that as well?
Yeah, it is the two things. When you say that here in LA is because everybody's running an identity. So when you are with an identity, no authenticity, there's going to be always a gap because the identity wants a strategy from that interaction. So it's not authentic now, and that the context sometimes helps. Why? Because if you feel safe in the context, you're going to put away the identity and show up authentically with your heart. But if you are not safe in the context, and feeling not safe means with judgment, and LA is judgment. So then that context is going to put your armor in, which is identity, and then you're going to interact. And then that's the gap. So 100% context that you feel safe and you feel loved for who you are and seen are going to completely affect your behavior. That's why we need to create context where people doesn't feel judged and feel safe. But LA, my friends, it's the capital of let's show up, let's show. There's nothing bad with that, eh? It has its benefits, but you need to balance that with a personal life where you can just like breathe and smile and laugh and leave the armor out.
Yeah. I see cities as actually as human beings. It's very fascinating to me. Like Toronto is a 30-something-year-old woman with a lot of attitude, but good attitude. So every city to me has its own character and hence energy. Then there is the environment and as you said, character. I mean, we are always playing the character. The question is which character of mine is showing up. So there's the energy of the city, the energy of me, and the energy of the company that I'm holding. So I do agree with you, Ben. I show up differently if I'm traveling. That is true. But it also is the fact that in defense, I never thought I'll do this, in defense of Los Angeles, it also is the city of diversity. It is where you find the most spiritual, the most superficial, the most everything. And there are many communities around that. And my idea after living on 4 continents in the past 40 years is to really create that which I'm craving, to create that if this is not what is serving me. And by create, I don't mean 400 member community, 2-3 people that really feed my soul and somehow is what I'm looking for. So I think I take your words into action, as you would like to talk about action, and say, okay, so what is it? A question is born in me. What is it? What community would I like to create? What is the next gathering that I would like to create and have people I can feed and serve and would feed and serve me? And I think that's where I would go with that feeling.
Well, give me a call when I will go.
Nacho, you teach people how to alchemize and harmonize disharmonies within them, their difficult emotions, into harmony within them, and how that can translate to all aspects of their life. And you have a very beautiful method. You have the Arimany method that you teach, which is an incredible and very powerful method. So for people who want to learn more about you and your method,
well, we have the tool of Instagram, and then I have my website. So my website is nachoarimany.com. Arimany is with Y at the end. Basically, in the website, you have all the information for the sessions and my background, some other interviews. I think it's important to get to know a teacher before you contact them. So you can research me there. Everything is on my website. I think I've been taking care of the website for years. So there, and then of course on social media is more day-to-day things. So again, in Instagram, Nacho Arimany, you can text me anytime to my DMs. My email address is on my website too, how you can contact me. I'm always happy to have a call. If somebody wants to know more before jumping into a process, I'm always available for calls too.
And we'll include all that information in the show notes too.
Great. Well, guys,
It was fun playing with you.
Yeah, jumping into the unexpected and unknown with you guys was very fun. It was very nice.
Thank you for playing with us, Nacho. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. This was beautiful. I really received a lot from this conversation. It was such a joy to talk to you.
I enjoy to see you and talk to you, Mitra.
All right.
All right, Nacho. See you, buddy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For a list of the links and other resources referenced in this episode, check out the podcast description.
If you're benefiting from our podcast, we'd love if you could help us reach more people by subscribing. Your support means the world to us. From our hearts to yours, we thank you.